Primary ignition.
This is Star Wars.
Look out!
Core World News.
You may fire when ready.
From the bright center of the galaxy, I'm Rex Condack, and you're listening to Core World News, your Hollywood news service providing in-depth coverage of all latest stories from all sectors of the galaxy. Now, your news segment rundown for October 6, 2022. ANDOR Canada. Kyber Crystal Comics Corner. We now go to the CWN newsroom to join our host, Ben Granite Adam, for the review of the latest episode of ANDOR, Episode 5, The Axe Forgets. And later we'll hear their thoughts on the 5-part Obi-Wan comic by Christopher Cantwell. Take it away, team.
All right, thank you very much, Grex. Welcome, everyone, friends, comrades, brothers and sisters in arms. Thank you for joining us for another Core World News. We are going to talk about ANDOR Episode 5 right off the bat here because we tried to just talk to each other for 2 minutes before rolling, and that wasn't happening. There's only one thing we want to talk about, and it's another amazing episode of ANDOR. I'd like to start by asking you, gentlemen, how off were we on our predictions last week?
Pretty off.
Yeah,
no dinner
pretty
party
off
for us.
it's
really
hilarious.
off.
We got 0 things right, I think, in our prediction, 0
Yep.
things, which is why I love this show so much.
So good.
I mean, one of us probably should have just been taken the under, Price is Right, and just been or nothing could happen. Because I mean, this was a very
Nothing and
probable.
everything.
And
I mean, if you told me that
But
this
no.
next episode was going to start with a few insert shots of some Death Star balls and blue milk, I wouldn't have believed you. But
Right?
Death Star
we got
Crunchies.
space cereal, and I was pleased by that scene. And
I just-
love Cyril Karn's mom. Shout out to Cyril Karn's mom,
Oh.
sticking up for his son.
Yeah.
But also, given it's not always carrot, it's sometimes stick. It seems.
It's true.
Oh, it seems like a lot of stick with the old boy. Not a lot of encouragement.
I just to bring us all back to last episode for us, for our listeners, what we predicted is Ben and Grant, you guys are kind of hot on, they're gonna do the heist and get away. And I'm like, no, but they're at least gonna do the heist.
Yeah. Yeah. And I said the full house.
Yeah.
I wanted the full
Yeah.
house. I was like, we're gonna get the dinner scene. And I'm
Mhm.
like, and we're gonna intercut with the no, we might get that next episode with the heist and the dinner scene.
I think the dinner scene's already happened.
I think we're past the dinner.
I think we're
scene.
past it. I
We
think it was the
didn't
next
even-
morning.
That was the next morning. Did you just
Yeah.
break my heart?
I
on,
did. I
while
felt
we're
for you
rolling?
guys. Yeah, sorry.
All right,
Sorry,
I'm gonna
dude.
go cry in the back of the newsroom for a second.
I'd also like to
I need
acknowledge
to get some staplers.
Cloris, who just dropped me off, and unlike Perrin, we're great buds, and I treat him with dignity and know his name well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he keeps
Shout out
asking
to
me about
Cloris.
my social security number, but I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably gonna do cool things with it.
Oh man, yeah. We were so wrong about so many things, but I do love this small rebel group, this
yeah.
small band that we're following, and Skeen is a character that's super dynamic. I think I was super wary of him last episode. Just I
Yeah.
got strange vibes. He seemed very menacing especially to Cassian, and then this episode really turned it around, and it just shows how well Tony writes these characters, and I think he talks about the emotional thinking of these characters in this time of war. They're already at war. They've already chosen to fight. It's not about joining. It's about why they're fighting and who they are and what they're thinking in the moment. I think he does that super well. So
Yeah, there's no cheap exposition. I was telling Grant before we logged on, or before we started rolling here, just I cherish every scene because I know it's just going to be a delight. There's going to be really amazing things here, and of course they would slow play this. I was just guessing, based on every other Star Wars I've seen, Skeen is the guy that looks a little shifty and he's going to do something sideways. And they're like, no, you don't know Skeen yet. We're going to tell you more about Skeen.
Yeah.
And just dispelling all these tropes that, I don't mind in my Star Wars, but they're giving me so much more, just this colorful bounty behind every cut. It's so great. Yeah. And we got a lot of background, second person commentary on other people. They're I'm trying to remember her name. I have it written right here. Cinta.
yes,
She's she's the hardest one in the group. That's the hardest one right there.
Yeah.
And, the healer, and you're like, oh, okay. And then, different like Nemik's like core, and then and then Skeen, or then we actually find about Skeen's story, which is just dark.
Yeah.
Probably the darkest Star Wars has gotten in terms of like just someone giving exposition about their backstory. Like it just felt truly grim, and just I feel like he hates the Empire more than anyone there, almost. Like after that scene, it just feels like he has a seething hatred of the Empire. As we again see tattoos on Skeen that seem to be like prison tattoos, like he was imprisoned twice by the Empire. Like
Adam, you were reading the subtitles, I assume. That's kind of your MO. Did you get any proper nouns to accompany those tattoos? Because I didn't. I guessed incorrectly.
I did, but I didn't have them. I didn't like log them to memory. I made a mental note at the time and then did not write them down.
Was it more explicit that they were prison tats?
No, it was just proper nouns, so it meant nothing. But I took them as like prison tats basically. So again, I'm gonna make predictions that are of course gonna be proven wrong.
You're just going right back into it, just
of course, because
down, Adam.
I love making predictions when my predictions are wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like that's one of my favorite things. Like I was getting a little bored with. I do with Star Wars, because I can't remember, like watching Ben just completely predict all of Obi-Wan or all of Boba Fett was just like heartbreaking.
In so many ways for so many people. Bro.
Yeah. So I love that we're keeping it wrong, but my prediction is just like Skeen is gonna be the downfall of this whole thing.
Do you think it's because he's soft? I think he's soft. I think he's gonna crack.
No, it's because he'll go overboard with his vengeance.
He'll go overboard. Yeah, he's not gonna be able to hold together and pretend to be an Imperial. I don't think. I think he's just gonna lose it at some point and just yeah.
I've been picking up wrong vibes about everyone. I thought those tats might have been military. That's what it was. I was like, that's why Cassian recognized them, or Clem.
Right, and Cassian reflects, I think, on his entanglement with the
yeah. I think he said.
Well, he talked about being basically He's basically was in a juvie hall. Like that's what he talks about.
That's what he was talking about. Because he said like 13, and I was like, that seems awfully early to enlist. But in my head, I'm like, those are.
Juvenile.
I thought they were.
Yeah, the way I read it was a juvenile facility, like just being held.
No one's proud enough to be a stormtrooper to get a tattoo, right? Maybe there are.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so that makes sense that he was in juvenile detention and knows that, and that just adds another really cool layer, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I mean, we learn more about Nemik in this episode as well, and Nemik is, I think, a big standout character for me. I really like this character quite a bit, and for all of us, I imagine, and he's apparently writing a manifesto of ideas about the sort of thought process for maybe a burgeoning rebellion, or what their mandate or motto or what that's going to be, right? That initiative. And so that was super cool. And I've got some wild theories about that manifesto, because he holds up that manifesto in a Navicomputer and basically shakes those items, and I'm like, this is set up. Like those two items are actually pretty important, and I think will carry on in the story even if Nemik doesn't.
Do you mean the Polaroid camera?
Yeah.
This is one of the items.
I was like, please don't be a camera, please don't be a camera. He's like, it's a navigational device. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
But I gotta think that's either going to be the document they use for the rebellion, or maybe it's a document that's used for the New Republic. But what I'm really hoping the show might do is maybe it falls into Imperial hands, and it's basically lines are lifted from that for Tarkin's doctrine, and sort of like talking about freedom and liberty, and sort of lifting Nemik's words because they're actually quite good for arresting the public and sort of capturing their attention.
Yeah, and I mean that's after Nemik dies first, right?
Yeah, I'm guessing. I mean, Nemik is so beloved that they're going to take him from us, and
he's like a droid in a lot of ways. Like he's so lovable. He's like a droid lovable. Like he's brilliant and optimistic, and and just passionate, and like all the things, like like a flawless droid, but he's a flawless human, and I think they're setting us up for him.
My wife loves that character so much, and she was so like, I can't wait to see. I'm like, oh, Carly, oh, don't get attached. Oh no,
Oh,
it's gonna be rough.
it's gonna hurt.
None of them are making it out alive.
So fantastic.
I love Gorn too. We got a lot of Gorn in this episode, and I just love how he's managing his staff and sort of anticipating the celestial event that's about to happen, and where those staff are going to be during the event. It's kind of like that's what we're all thinking watching the episode. Like, how is he going to, persuade his staff to basically be out of that hangar bay during the event so they can take off of that freighter? Because and they even linger on a shot of the Imperial whatever payroll or gold or whatever that is. They kind of show it, and they show like as right after a couple troopers are asking to go out and see it on the night
to empty that garrison. Like, how did he trick them? He was like, you both have to paint this thing and be in here.
It was
during
so
that.
great.
Yeah, it was like the double lie, and they're like, no, like he knew they would beg to be upstairs. And they did.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
So when everything goes after, he'd be like, it wasn't my idea. I wanted them to be there, and they convinced me not to be there. So maybe you should look at the two of them. But it was brilliantly done. Two things. The way the writing, which you've already hit on, is amazing. I think where it kind of clicked for me, which is just what's going on with this, is with Gorn, and when they're describing Gorn's backstory and why he is working for the rebellion, it's all of like 2 lines. Basically, right? Fell in love with a local woman, killed at the hands of the Empire. Like, it's literally just like 2 lines. And I'm like, that's great. The exposition in this thing is just done, and it's natural, and you get that character's motivation, and then they'll spend 30 lines just espousing about the human condition. And I'm like, that's Star Wars, right? Like, it's all just like you rush through not rush through, but you do little lore drops and little exposition drops. And then you spend all of your dialogue and everything else on like character building, right? And human. And like that worked. The other thing to do completely other is that moment when they showed the payload that they're going to try to steal. I had to pause it, and my wife and I had a 30-minute conversation about the fact that the Empire is apparently on the gold standard, which makes no sense in a galaxy. Cool. And so we had like a 30-minute economic conversation. Wait.
They'll have to introduce a name for that currency or whatever that is.
It's just Republic, just Imperial credits, right?
I thought so. I guess. I mean, but it's weird that they're like, it's actually like physical. Yeah, it's physical. It's so weird.
Yeah, they look like gold bars almost.
It did. Yeah,
they're small though. I mean, we've seen them a million times. They're just like, they look like Kit Kats covered in gold, and then you just throw them on the table. Like, I think that's what they are. And then they stack together in hexagons, just like the Empire, and then they can be transported.
No, I love it. I think it's cool. I think it's like a fun, and it's kind of tropey. It's classic.
Yeah, totally. It's great. World building. It's really,
but it's cool. Yeah, I like it.
So many. I mean, and just to keep going with the Gorn thing, like just to be. I love Imperial architecture, and I know it's probably some actual real place that they shot at, and it was probably just like a dam or whatever. But like Imperial ramparts,
yes, real dam. That was a real place that I think Luke Hull, the production designer,
found. Yeah, well, good eye.
I was trying to figure out which Bond film I've seen that in, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. But still, you know me, like I want them like playing with gadgets and like fiddling with like, wall mounted, pathways and I love seeing, existing in the architecture and just like, him on the ramparts with that slouching corporal was, I don't know.
Yeah.
I love watching them interact with the space. I love feeling in a Star Wars landscape, and nothing does it like the roar of twin ion engines doing like a flyby.
Yeah. Right. Oh, right. That scene. Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of people were remarking on how, this show was able to make a one TIE fighter quite threatening and like intimidating. It's so great to see. And then just how loud that got and how Cinta and Val like cover their ears. Like, imagine just blows your eardrums out. Just flying by.
It feels so real. Again, we commented when we were watching, that was another pause moment of just like that, like the realness of seeing like TIE fighters in Atmo, which we've
Yeah.
seen before. Like we've seen them in like Force Awakens, right? There's the scene
Yep. Mandalorian.
in Mandalorian, but like
Right.
this made it feel like like I know it's all computer generated, but it made it feel like they actually flew something over them. Like it just is done so well. Yeah.
Have you ever seen those paintings online that people like buy old like paintings and then paint in like AT-ATs and like Star Wars stuff?
Yeah.
That's what this felt like. It's just like you
Truly.
can suddenly, add a dimension to the space just by like plopping a TIE fighter in the middle of it.
Yeah.
I love their handling of that Lambda class shuttle too. They see like a
Yep.
Lambda class like just flying away in the distance, and it's just gorgeous. And it's like it's almost like a blur. We can barely see. It's very far away, but I love the handling of sort of the traffic, the Imperial traffic going back and forth to the garrison. I thought that was just so atmospheric. Like the ships aren't just right in front of us, just glossy and gleaming. It's like, no, the ships are far away. It's very realistic. Again, it's the spaceport on Ferrix, the Orlean Star cab, all that stuff. It just feels super grounded, and the realism's off the charts.
It's the benefit of having location shooting, I think, right? Because you can think about how you're going to lay that stuff in, as opposed to like with the volume, because you can like just put something straight in front of you. I think back to the Mandalorian, like there's no subtlety in that show. And I'm not saying that show needs to be subtle. It's not a subtle show.
I think Mandalorian does a better job of being sort of subtle, but I think Boba Fett was almost too unrestrained. Like it was almost like there was just too much. They were like, oh, we can use the volume, and therefore we have greater access to these larger set piece moments that can just happen. And I don't know if you should indulge in that. I think you should almost limit yourself when crafting these stories, because I don't know. It's just, I like what this show's about, and it's about talking and getting in the headspace of characters. And I don't think we do that enough in Star Wars. I think that's why people are finding this show so refreshing. And it's,
I don't know how we go back to the volume after this. And I feel so bad saying that, because I think, I've literally, there's hours of me on this podcast waxing poetically about the volume and the amazingness of it. And I think there's use for it, but man, I like, can we do this with every Star Wars show? And I know the answer is no.
I know the answer is no. I think this show is setting us up for some serious letdown for future stuff. I mean, Mando's fantastic and will always be fantastic, and Boba will be great, and Acolyte's going to be amazing, and I don't really know what else is on the horizon there. Ahsoka, right? You know, hopefully they'll do something special and different with Ahsoka, but don't you feel like they need, and I hesitate to use the word need, but like to sort of up the production value game across the board after this?
Is the lesson we learn similar to the lesson we learned with CGI after a while? Is it's not like CGI on its own doesn't work. It's that mix of practical and CGI that's kind of that magic. And then maybe we learn that we need like limited use. Like we need some practical locations and use of the volume other times. Like I think you can do both. Sorry, Ben just moved and I didn't realize there was a Mon Mothra hiding behind him.
Yeah, there is. No, I think you're onto something there. I think it almost comes down to spectacle. It's like, is the spectacle cheapened if it happens in every other scene? Like, do you want to maybe, and the volume allows for that. The volume, you can create, exotic planets and create exotic set piece moments in almost every scene, which is, but I think that's a detriment. I think what Andor's doing, trying to go on location, trying to be more practical, I think that adds to the sort of like the character building, because you're not gonna have a set piece, like it's not always gonna be a set piece moment. It's gonna be like a campfire scene. It's gonna be like huddled in a dark tent. It's gonna be at a dinner table. It's gonna be it's these smaller scenes that I think just they sing in this show, because we don't. There's so much history that's just untapped, and we're just finally opening the the tap on it. And
the campfire scene, which was like, I don't know, 65% of this entire episode, was like. was almost the most cinematic I've seen Star Wars on TV. And I can't explain why. Like, it felt that those scenes felt more like a movie to me than anything else I've seen so far in Star Wars.
And I mean, to just add on my old thing, like when I say production value, I don't just mean, the volume versus practical. I mean dialogue. I really think script writers across Lucasfilm right now are going, oh no. I'm sure they've seen this before we have, but it's like watching the show, they're just like, okay, I got to find another gear, or we've got to, because it's the script, it's the pace, it's the, and then it is the practical effects. The acting is tremendous. So I just, I don't know, for some reason, and I think I forgot who I was listening to in what podcast, but some actor was just being like, I feel like it might have been Lorne Michaels actually, saying that like I just feel like the audience is a lot more savvy now about no, it wouldn't have been him because it would have been an actor, maybe Ethan Hawke or something. But just like the audience is more savvy, and I needed to hear that from an actor because I mean I know there's a lot of internet trolls that think they're like experts, but I think for somehow, some way, we've learned about movie making, and you know, the movie fan has sort of pierced that veil a little bit and really can critically understand, you know, script and scenes and stuff. And like it's a more, I don't know, maybe after watching films for as long as we have since the 50s or whatever, like now, you know, the mass populace is sort of getting how they're made and what makes good ones, and
Yeah.
you know, what the art really entails. But I don't know, I just feel like this is a huge step up in production value. And I mean, but maybe they're just going to be like, this is for adults, and then we're going to go back to making shows for kids 9 times out of 10, but like we're throwing you this Andor bone here for the, you know, 40 plus crowd or whatever.
Well,
Or,
it's not
you know,
like, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, I don't think it holds your hand, and I also think it just wants to immerse you in the world, and it kind of just wants to
immersion.
drop
Yeah.
you kind of, you know,
Yeah.
mise en scène, just like in there, and like, or in media res, I mean, sorry. And I feel like because it goes through it brings up these lore elements, but it doesn't slow down. It kind of just throws them at you rapid fire. Like when Deirdre Miro is talking about these planets where there's rebel activity, she's just rifling through these planets as quickly as possible, and it's just like, we're not stopping, we're not explaining anything. It just feels like true to these sort of like you know, Lucas's, you know, vision in the first place, where there's just jargon in this world, and you're just gonna have to grasp onto what you can and keep going. I like that.
Yeah. Did you catch any of those names?
Well, they might be featured in trivia later, so.
So you don't want to talk about them?
No, we can, because yeah. Well, I'll just eliminate that question. It's fine. Go for it.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Come on. I had the two I caught were Kessel and Fondor, and we know that like, I don't know, maybe Kessel was long ago. I thought Kessel might have been from Solo, and they did actually mess that one up. That wasn't an organized rebellion. That just happened to be them, jacking that hydrogen fuel. And but to them, they thought that the other
right, because the Kessel, like the coaxium they stole was used to given to the Cloud Riders, who were
so maybe
rebellion.
the strings were being pulled there, in one way or another.
Yeah.
Oh no, it wasn't, because the Cloud Riders jacked it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But they don't. But the Imperials don't know that, right? They think it was an organized, not just some, space jockey.
Yeah. The other name I recognized was Fondor.
Yeah.
So Fondor was made famous in Battlefront 2. It has shipyards on it, and it's a staunch Empire loving, Imperial loving planet. They have like the red banners all over the thing. You actually, in the single player in Battlefront 2, you get to go down on the ground in Fondor, and there's a rebellion. And so I think that was what they were referring to there.
Yeah, I just love Deirdre Miro, like that character specifically. I love when she's kind of catching onto the scent of this rebellion, this nascent rebellion. She's like, I know this. If I was them, this is how I would do it. I'd spread it out, never climb the same fence twice. I just loved that line. I just love that she is hot pursuit of rebel activity. And you got attendant Hart with her as well.
Yes.
All right, that's what I was looking for his name.
Yeah, I was doing the same thing, but I love that relationship. I love that it's there. It's so weird because she is hunting for the hero the people are rooting for.
Yeah,
and every time it's a scene with her, I'm rooting for her.
It feels like some fun sort of scavenger hunt plot, but it's these are the bad guys.
Right.
Good.
Check yourself. But they're putting it together, which is kind of fun to see them coming towards it. And
Yeah.
Attendant Heart gives me like Eli Banto vibes, hardcore. And so I instantly like him.
He's got like really distinct sunken eyes. He
Mhm.
just he just looks like a vampire. Like I can't explain. It's just very
That's the Imperial look.
It's
right?
perfect. It's such a perfect Imperial. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys caught this, but in the last episode during the briefing with Major what's it, Pentagard or gas?
Something like
Pentagast.
that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Partagast or something.
Partagast.
I guess the captain at the end says there's increased communications around Scarif. Communication traffic around Scarif, because that is where the Death Star is being constructed currently. That is the construction site for the Death Star during the show, apparently.
Question mark? Are
Question
you talking
mark?
about like
Possibly?
in you talking about where we first see it in Rogue One?
No, not in Rogue One. I think just at this time in the galaxy. Is that where it's being constructed?
I don't think so, man. I
don't think so. I
Too
thought it
high
was just-
profile.
Yeah.
I think they're
That was
off
just their
like
vault.
dead space.
Well, they were Geonosia for a long time, and then they moved to
Yeah.
a couple planets from Catalyst that I'm forgetting. But and then it moves around. Like the construction site moves, I think.
Yeah, not often, but it does move. So yeah, I'm not sure where the Death Star is right now. I'm trying to think of that they were next to a sun, right? Like because they had those sweet shadow moments, like when we see the dish being placed in the Death Star. But I don't know what system that is. I didn't. Yeah,
I thought that was in. I was
Scarif.
No. So, Grant, you are correct. So,
okay, my bad.
in 9 BBY, the Death Star, an armored battle station, was moved from Geonosis to Scarif to continue its construction under supervision of Krennic. So that's Krennic's. So in 9 BBY, which is nowish, right?
No,
in terms of
we're 5 BY.
But,
right?
but
5
to me,
BBY,
what
so
that
that would
scene,
be-
to me, that seems pretty important because if they're saying there's increased comm traffic around Scarif, and they kind of like, do they know the Death Star's projects there? Are the ISB kind of kept from that? Like, is
At
it
that
so
level? I don't
secret
know.
that
Yeah.
almost nobody knows about it? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how secret is this project? It's kind of fascinating to me.
Yeah, you're obsessed with that, and you're obsessed with the Tarkin Doctrine, and just
I am.
keep following
Those
your
two
nose,
things.
Grant.
Those
Keep
two
following
things.
your nose.
Yeah.
Those would be great to get. I don't know that we're gonna get any Tarkin in this, man. It just seems like
No, not in
It's
this
just
first
big.
season, I don't think. But I think
Maybe
it's
in next
nearly
season.
inevitable. I think you'll get I think you might get like a Wolf Yularen or something. Like I think you might get something.
I'd love to
Yeah.
get Aaron. That would be really interesting because he's such a major player in the Clone Wars animated series.
Wasn't he the first ISB person or something?
I don't know. I don't know much
Believe
about
so.
his Empire.
Yeah, I
career,
don't remember.
Imperial career. Yeah.
Is this going to be the first? Because we're not even halfway through the season because I keep forgetting the season's 12 episodes long, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But we're about halfway through. What are the odds we get through this entire season without getting like a single like Star Wars cameo, quote unquote? You know what I mean? Like we might get through the entire season.
Oh, we got
with
pretty
just-
good odds. This
Pretty
first
good
season
odds,
seems
Which
like
I would
just
be like, that's
casting
amazing.
was the only real.
Yeah.
cameo.
And then I
Yeah,
could.
and-
I
but
could
he's the
see-
character. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get one for sure, and it's gonna
We
be
are.
K2SO.
I don't know if
I don't know.
maybe.
That might be second season.
That might be second season.
Yeah, or third.
I think it's like finale of this season. We're gonna get K2SO.
That would make sense.
little
We also
something
are
to-
going to get Saw Gerrera.
Yeah,
We
Saw's
saw
happening.
Saw in the previews.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I mean that'd be great.
which
to
is
see more stuff.
fine. Yeah.
I think a couple, but I think the like K2SO is going to be a prelude to next season, and I think there's going to be a lot more lore drops because I think they can organically make them meaningful.
Well, yeah, things start moving too closer
Yeah.
to New Hope, so it makes sense that you get a little more. Yeah.
Into it.
We still haven't touched on Mon Mothma and Coruscant.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a tough life. She's leading.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
Wow.
had this thought again. I mean, totally cringy scene, but I had this thought. Like everyone is fighting the rebellion in their own way, and it's like, yes, it's the militia on the ground, and yes, it's these like spies and power lever wielders, but it's also Mon Mothma on the highest level in the Senate fighting the rebellion in her own home. And it's just like I just think it's a really cool vantage point. Like it's sort of there was a part of me, and I did lean over to my wife Jenny, and I'm like, I don't know that I needed to know Mon Mothma's daughter, but it's like important that she's like trying to be a mother and a wife, and just a citizen, and like going through things that everyone goes through with teenagers and spouses and whatever, and but she's carrying this like heavy burden of purpose, and everyone
It's also
but she can't share it with anybody, even the people close, especially the people closest to her.
It's also interesting that she's kind of authoritative in this moment with her daughter, where it's almost like we're kind of seeing how systems of control are corrupting the galaxy, and then she is trying to just take control of the situation with her daughter, and it's like, but again, she gives in, and she just walks away, and it's like that's what a normal person does. The Empire and these stringent ISB agents, like they're not walking away from anything, and it's quite clear when you're seeing Deirdre kind of like monitoring this rebellion, and you're seeing Lieutenant Supervisor Blevin on Ferrix establishing that new headquarters, which is I think that's going to be a big part of the story. I think we're going back to Ferrix, guys, and I think Ferrix is going to be in a stranglehold, and we're going to get a bigger uprising, right? Like the drumming kind of didn't get the payoff that I think it will get.
We got like a 30-second little Ferrix drop in this episode.
Yeah, we did. I was like, where are we? And I was like, oh, wait,
I did the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, they even showed that like stairway where Tim got mowed down.
Tim. Still don't know what I'm thinking about.
Never forget Tim.
Yeah. And then we get at the very end, we get Luthen, like a 10-second check-in with Luthen, and like there's a moment where like I felt really dumb. Where it was like me, sometimes I have trouble putting like the big picture together in a movie of like, wait, why are we doing this? I just like along for the ride the first time I watch something. And I think the line at the end is like, it'll be over by this time tomorrow, or will have just begun.
Right.
Well, and I'm like, the rebellion will have just begun because they'll have the money to fund the rebellion. I get it. I understand the show. It's like, for some reason, it didn't hit me.
I was like, that's a fraction of what you guys are stealing. So you certainly can.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. I mean, 200,000 credits is a lot of cash, but he's like, everything hinges on this. Let's go. I'm gonna overinvest on this one.
This is the rebellion. If this doesn't work, they don't have a rebellion. They can't fund it. They can't buy X-wings.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, just basic food and provisions. Like I always like, I'm wondering. I'm like, okay, great.
I hope we get to see the deal for some like X-wings.
Yeah.
With the show, we probably will,
or something like that deal with those corporate execs. That'd be great.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite Rebels shows. Was when they stole the Y-wing.
The Y-wings with is that Wedge or
that was the Leia episode, or was that the Mon Mothma episode or the Leia episode? Which one was that?
No, I think who did they have? It was just it was Lando was there. I think
that's right.
With the Ugnaughts, right? And then but they were having trouble with Ezra, and he was fighting his own battles, something. But
you see my Lando shelf behind me.
Nice.
Oh, there he is. Oh, you have a Tatooine guard.
Tatooine guard. I have Lando, and my solo Lando's downstairs. He had to bring him upstairs and put him in with his.
For our listeners at home, we do post a couple video clips now. I'm sorry, on the social medias on Instagram, but Adam has constructed in his new office in his home a fantastic gallery cube display of his Star Wars swag, and there are a lot of action figures, which make me extremely happy. They're well sorted, which makes me even more happy.
There was a lot of debate about does this go here, does this go there, and I had to make some concessions, but I think it mostly works.
I see that Legends section over there. It's looking strong.
Yeah.
Yep. A lot of books. A lot of. I see a holocron back there. Are those shot glasses? I don't know what
those are. Shot glasses.
Speaking of artifacts, did you guys see the Sankara stones in Luthen's shop from Indiana Jones? Temple of
Oh yes, yeah.
No,
I caught it online. I didn't see it live. Like I didn't see it, but I saw that live, which I'm like, that's amazing because C-3PO and R2-D2 are in Raiders.
It also has like the holocron, but it looks like the holocron from Rebels, like or something.
Yeah.
Oh, do you think it's the "Help Me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, You're My Only Hope"? No, that was Kanan's, right?
No.
He kept that one with him. No, I'm sorry. It's Obi-Wan giving his Kanan has the one that's Obi-Wan giving his duck and
get
cover.
Yeah, don't come.
Go to ground.
So why does Luthen stay in the wig when it's after hours? I didn't get that.
Just in case
it probably is too much.
Someone
If someone comes in, it's too much work to put that back on. So he's in it all day.
Yeah, when he's there, he has to affect that foppish dandy.
I love how sort of prominent Clea is in the relationship. Like she's not just the assistant in the shop. She's almost calling the shop. She's almost telling him to calm down and get in line. I think Clea's got a big future in this show as well. And I think they're both this sort of spy duo. I can't wait to see what they do next.
Yeah, I am very interested. I realized the show, I think one of the things that really is probably a benefit and a motivator for the show is it's finite. It's by definition finite. We know there are 24 total episodes in this whole thing. And no matter what they want to do, that's it, because it bumps up against Rogue One. You can't do more than 24. So everything has to mean something, because it's not something like, well, if this works, we'll come back to it in season 3 or season 4 or season 5. This is it. And so I think that's why they're building all these characters out and giving them each a moment, because this is going to be their only moments.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Like I said, just hanging on every scene. I got
wonder
another
what the coup de grace will be of the season, of the entire series. What is the big eventful thing that could happen that is organic sort of a stepping stone to the Death Star and the sort of the
that dinner party they robbed
the
me
Death
of.
Star plans. Yeah. I know the dinner party with Sly Moore could have been the final scene of that show.
Yeah.
Right. Carly was what? Carly was
"Ooh, getting dark. I like this. Okay, we're going to the Grand Vizier's."
Free the dinner party.
I know. We had one of those moments where Carly was just like, "What?" Because I was just chuckling at nothing. It was literally because it was when they cut back to Mama Mothra, it looked like the day after a dinner party, the way they were sitting at the table and everything. And it was just she's like, "What?" I'm like, "We didn't see the dinner party." And
we didn't see the dinner party with all the name drops.
And I know, and she's like, "Oh yeah," she's like, and I'm like, "No, you don't understand. Let me show you a picture of Sly Moore." So I pulled it up and showed it to her. And she's like, "Oh man,
Masameda was coming over." They're the Grand Vizier, Sly Moore, and then some guy named Ars Dangor, who's actually a Legends character or something.
Yeah, I could do a whole episode with Ars Dangor. What I want him to just monologue after monologue, just tell me about the Empire or the ways of the Sith or something, because they're all in on it. Oh man, that
Sly Moore ate nothing and glared at me entire meal.
That would have been great.
I don't know. Based on what's his name? I refuse to remember Mama Mothra's husband's name because I hate that man so much.
Well, if you didn't hate Perrin enough, he hangs out with Masameda and Sly Moore.
Yeah. Right, but that's the thing. I know what we think Sly Moore is but it sounds like by his description, she's a pretty good hang. So
it would be kind of funny if she was just raging, who's just throwing back, whatever bantha milk and having a great time. Bantha Russians. I don't have it off the top of my head. All right, so what about the big mystery in this one? Who is Uncle Harold or Uncle Harrow? Who's Karn's uncle that's going to inevitably hire him to do something.
Yeah.
You have to imagine he's a sector administrator or something.
But where's he going to place him?
Prefect or something. I don't know.
You think it'll be a governing position somewhere? Again, to fail again?
No, I think he'll maybe enter entry level ISB and then rise through that, because we're getting that organization now, and so
That's my
I
guess.
The security.
yeah. Yeah, he's going to be the metal detector guy there. Like he's going to have access to the ISB, and it's going to be in like it's going to be low like food service level or something. It just gives him access that he can start going. Like I really think it's going to be like he's going to think it's one thing, and it's going to be like I'm checking people in at the gate.
Right. So we all like made guesses about how he would get back into the Empire. To be fair, I really thought that he had failed too hard to get back into the Empire. But I I think we were all like, if he's going to do it, he's going to sort of scrape through, like, he's got to go through basic somewhere. But like, shame on us to think that guy would like lower himself and do the hard work to get to where he wants to be. He has like a family relative that's going to get him into the Empire.
Right.
Like that.
Shame
so
we didn't do
sense.
the
Like
do the easiest
nepotism,
path.
maybe.
Yeah, nepotism, privilege. Yeah, I don't know why we didn't just say that. That's like 99 times out of 100. That's how that works.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but who do you think the guy's a major character, or you just do you think the character is significant at all?
Cyril
I don't.
Karn?
No,
Harlow?
Harlow.
Uncle Harlow, whatever.
Uncle
Harlow. No, I think
Harlan?
he's one of those things where
Harlan?
I think his mom thinks he's a big deal, and he's just going to be like the head chief security guy, or you know what I mean? Like it's going to be
middle
in her
management
world.
at the
It's
ISB.
yeah, in her world, it's a big deal. He's like he works in HR basically for ISB.
It could be the
No
propaganda
offense to HR.
department of propaganda.
No.
I'm waiting for. I think that could be a fun thing to bring into the show. It's the sort of propaganda wing of the
Oh,
Empire.
that'd be great. Yeah.
But then again, Cyril Karn feels like a detective, a kind of stringent detective character.
Yeah.
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 We want him eye to eye with Cassian at some point, right? He's got to be headed in that direction.
Yeah.
He can't.
I mean, his is it. Yeah, he's right now while we're doing like the Guns of Navarone stuff for on the rebellion side. He's gonna keep the noir thread going in this show. I have a feeling.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
Lots to come with Cyril Karn for sure.
Yeah. Anything that we missed? We do have another segment today. I know usually we've just been dwelling on Andor, which has been fun, but we've got some comics to talk about. Obi-Wan series, the full series. We're going to talk about all 5 episodes. Should be great. But anything else on Andor? Do you guys have any other notes?
I think that's everything.
I think we covered most of it. There's a new foundation that Mon Mothma's just started. I'm wondering if that's a sort of cover for sending money to the rebellion.
Yeah. Yep, that could definitely. Yeah,
and we also
definitely
did not
makes sense.
meet
That's a good
Mon
guess.
Mothma's. We also did not meet Mon Mothma's sort of a new
person
agent or asset.
Yeah,
the
the
rebellion. We didn't meet
person
that
she knows. Yeah.
Yeah, we also didn't. We also don't know what Vel and Acinta are doing during this
Right.
hijacking.
Right.
It's like we don't know what they're supposed to do. I'm thinking diversion. So
That's my guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to a dark place. I was like, they're women that base is mostly men. Like they're gonna infiltrate through salacious means.
I had a similar thought, and I think that's kind of where they're trying to lead you. And it may be
keep it private,
Yeah, that may be misdirection, right? That may be what they're trying to get the audience to think, and then it's a different thing. But yeah, it makes sense. Yeah,
we'll see.
We will see. Well, that was amazing. An amazing episode. I cannot wait till next week. I can't wait to watch this episode again. I only got to watch it once before this taping.
And before we started the record, we were talking about how we would love to kind of watch it as a whole after it all releases. And I'm wondering if there's ever a possibility that Disney Plus would cut their own, like create their own supercut of a Disney Plus series, especially one like this. Because I think there's so many episodes that really could cut together nicely without having to go through intros and opening titles and all this sort of stuff just to get to the next beat. It's like, I would love for Disney to take hold of their own, IP and their media and just sort of cut it all together and create these new supercuts and deploy them differently on the platform.
I'm still waiting for the last 4 episodes of season 7 of the Clone Wars to be cut
Like,
into
cut
a single
together.
movie.
Cut into a
One-
movie.
Yeah.
And there could be super long and have intermissions or something. Like there'd be something
Yeah.
creatively done there where it's like
Yeah.
you don't have to start each episode. Yeah.
No, and like it would make. We're only 5 episodes in, but it makes so much sense to cut episodes 1, 2, and 3 into one
Yep.
sitting experience, and then whatever the
4,
next
5, and
whatever
6.
segment is.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think they're all.
And then
gonna be short.
Or all the way to the end of
I
this
think
Aldhani
so, yeah.
heist. This first chunk could be all the heist, and then the end of it, and done. And then like the next super
Right.
cut or next chunk. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I would sit for that duration. That's not too bad.
Yeah, and it's not like it makes a lot of sense. Carly had the same question naturally. I had mentioned it, and she was watching it. She's like, "Do you think they're ever just gonna cut these into like mini movies?" She had said the same thing, and I'm like,
Nice, yeah.
They
It feels like
should.
it would
Yeah.
cut together naturally. It would be a pretty
Yeah.
fun editorial, and it would actually probably cut together nicely.
Yeah, I think there's huge room. There's a huge opportunity. Oh gosh, Tushman, huge opportunity gap with playlists. Get out of my head,
Hey.
Tushman. With on Disney Plus, and definitely supercuts, and also the Clone Wars chronologically, it that's number one with a bullet for me. It's just like, I mean, I know it was supposed to be episodic, and George was like, yeah, whatever, they can be a little out of order. Star Wars is out of order, the feature films, right? But it just, if you're gonna, like, people binge Clone Wars, I'm one of them, and it really doesn't make sense to watch them out of order, because there's like a development with Ahsoka that's going on, and it's like she's there, and then then you're meeting her like 3 episodes in. It's like, it doesn't make sense. So
All right, I have a final Andor thought for you guys.
before you do Final Andor, I want to jump on what Ben said about this, about the Clone Wars,
and another thing,
because I think I said this probably in episode like 2 or 3 of this, the second or third episode I was in here, is just like I guess not, because Disney Plus wasn't even a thing yet, which is wild to think about. But like, when Disney Plus started, I still don't understand why they don't do exactly what you're talking about, Ben, but also just do playlists. Like, do you want to watch only the Ahsoka story? Do you want to watch only it'd be so easy to do that. It doesn't take up any more data or space. You can probably get an intern to do it for you. Like, just do it.
So they've dabbled in it, right? Like, they're like, these are the essential Ahsoka stories, and I'm like, already have notes. I'm like, there are more.
Exactly.
This one,
just
like,
all
just
of them.
like, just give me every time Ahsoka showed up, like.
Yeah,
and
cut out the rest.
And they're like, I think there's like Obi-Wan stuff. Like they've tried, but they've really been. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot they could do there. I don't know how complicated it is on the back end, but I can't imagine it's that hard.
I can't imagine. All right, Grant, go. What's your Andor?
Final thought. We know we're getting Saw Gerrera. Do we think we'll get any Jyn Erso in this show at all?
I don't.
Okay.
I do not think so. I just feel like they're trying to make this as clearly like this is Cassian's story. And she's not.
Is she with Saw at this
what's
time?
her time?
No.
Is she or she?
No, she got. I think there was 7 years, if memory serves.
Okay, so
she was on her own.
Saw when she's just, I don't know.
I think she's in a Mimban prison. No, not Mimban. Yes, Mimban prison. No.
No, not Mimban. It's
Mimban the battle.
It's a imperial prison.
Wubani, sorry.
Wubani
prison.
Wubani, yeah.
Yeah.
Wubani. Yeah, there you go.
I think she's in Wubani prison right now, and so I think when they mentioned Wubani, that's as close as we're going to get to a Jyn Erso reference. However, we might get Galen Erso.
I was wondering if we get a Galen Erso. Like we might totally
it's
get
a
Galen
huge
Erso.
jump to
we
the
could
Death
get a credit.
Star, but, yeah.
But I mean, he's
we
not
don't
always
need it.
on the Death
We
Star,
don't need
right?
it.
Like,
It's enough.
There's
a book out there, so.
What if Cyril Karn gets assigned to the Death Star? I mean, I don't know. It'd be a weird place to go from like coming off a failure.
Yeah. Here's a quick thought. If I assume they're going to be successful in their heist. Successful meaning they're going to get the money. I don't know how many people are going to make it out alive. So, it's how you define success. But I just think they're going to get it. How do we not get a Tarkin at that point? How does that much money go missing?
See, that's what I think. I think
Tarkin's not just
theory
like
for
there.
the show. My big theory for the show is that what's his name? Nemec's manifesto, like makes it into Imperial hands, and that's the thing that would make it to Tarkin's desk, basically, like something like that.
Well,
you know?
Yeah.
That's the other thing too, is that what starts making them realize there really is a true rebellion, right? There's a manifesto now, because I Grant, I think you're onto something, because we know that Nemec's not making it out of there alive, which is so he has it on his person. I would assume he's going to have that, or it's going to be in the camp and they're to discover it. Like,
That's the one thing for them to find, right? Like, what these shows always do is there's crumbs that are left for the people hunting them all the time.
Especially
right?
in this
That's
show.
how these spy things work. And it's like, oh, they left their pen, or they left their watch, or they left this device, or they left that. They're going to leave this notebook. Like, okay, I'm going to use this now and track them. It's a classic thing, you know? So
nothing is nothing in this show.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. In Star Wars in general, there's like not, everything means something to some degree. I think we're gonna rise pretty high before getting to Tarkin. It might just be that Partagaz is Major Partagaz is our guy. I mean, well, I don't know.
Yeah, like something that hits Partagaz's desk, he's like, wow, he's gonna have to tell someone about a manifesto if he finds it.
Yeah.
And
well, I guess
especially if a whole sector, if he's in charge of the sector and their entire payroll disappeared, it's got to go above him, right? So,
and I guess maybe that's how you slow play it. So maybe it doesn't show up until the end of the season. Is because he's trying to keep it under wraps. Like his whole thing is like, we got to get the money back. We got to figure out who did this before I have to tell Tarkin.
I just love a scene where like Tarkin is walking around reading the manifesto or so. Like that's almost like a way to introduce Tarkin. Like.
Yeah.
Oh, look what they're thinking. These, these underlings who think they can, revolt against us. Like these are their thoughts. These are their ideas. Like I'm going to read this aloud, and then I'm actually going to take this material and I'm going to brainwash people with it.
Yeah.
That would be a really fun way to like twist that.
It's a great idea, man. And that's a very Thrawn thing to do too. Thrawn, he takes art and interprets it and then uses it against his enemies, and and I think Tarkin in many ways is cut from the same cloth. It's like that's what it takes to be an Imperial admiral. Like I love like how much of a boss Major Partagaz is, and I just feel like when they go over his head, like we're gonna get even sharper and crazier people like above him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be rough.
Maybe ending in I mean, Ben Mendelsohn like kind of played Krennic as a little bit of a blustery, not doofus, like he was a serious man, but didn't really belong to the Admiralty, like
no, self-obsessed.
Yeah, self-obsessed, but not like real Imperial Admiralty. I don't know. I just love that
just
they're
like
so
too
far
ambitious for his own good, almost.
Yeah. I love that we can. There's subtleties, but it's like not that subtle. Like you can tell. There's the distinctions between rank, at least so far. Anyways, gosh, just nerding out on rank. That's great, man. That's a really good insight, Grant. I'm glad you brought that up. Let's talk about Obi-Wan. I can't believe we got this comic book. So
Obi-Wan,
do it.
Yes, do it.
Kyber Crystal Comics Corner.
All right. Welcome back, and for another segment of Kyber Crystal Comics Corner. We haven't done this in a while. We got a little bit of catch up to do, but we're going to talk about the Obi-Wan miniseries, issues 1 through 5, by, and get ready for this. This is a lot of names: Cantwell, Anito, Ross, Miracolo, Muscabekov, Mello, Lopez, Woodard, Willem, Cheng, Sanchez Alamara, Caramanga, and Noto. That's because every issue had a
Christopher Cantwell wrote
every issue had a different artist. Correct, Adam?
Yeah, so Cantwell wrote every issue, but every issue had a different artist and colorist. So just wanted to give everyone their credit where credit's due.
You guys have favorite art in all of it, but they're all amazing, obviously. But was there one issue that like really stood out to you?
I think issue 4. I guess it would have been 5. The Stormtrooper art I really liked.
Oh, that art, yeah.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah,
that one's really good. I really liked the art in even just the first issue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's very vibrant. It's very Coruscant. It's a little cel shady.
Oh, Garen.
It's
like
nice.
the
Garen Rand.
the fellow.
Yeah.
That was
gets
this is a
lost
dark
in the
series.
underworld, and Obi-Wan has to save her or tries to go save
Yeah.
her, and then he gets embroiled in the underworld plot. That's great. I
Yeah.
like.
Let's just do an overview in case you
Yeah.
haven't read the series and are just like curious what's going on with this comic. If you're like a huge Obi-Wan fan, I would suggest reading it. Like I am.
Definitely.
In fact, I kind of wish we were able to cover this at the same time we did Apprentice and the Obi-Wan series because they all hold hands beautifully. There's a lot of synergy there. But this, I guess, the final episode just sort of came out recently. So this is old Ben in his hermit hut. You know, waiting out a sandstorm. And so this is the overarching like story, and he's writing in his journal. He's doing a little journaling, as you know, Jedi masters in exile do. And so we get, as he's writing, he's recollecting 4 stories, and then he's living through one maybe. And he's jotting them down in his journal. So you get this sort of every episode he's there in his hermit hut, recollecting, doing old Ben things, and then we jump into these vignettes that go chronologically through his life, starting with the creche, when he's just a youngling, and a tragic story, and then moving on to being a Padawan, and then being 2 episodes as a general, and then 1 just as him as an old man. They're fascinating vignettes. They all do sort of different things. So, Adam, you were saying you really liked the first one.
Yeah, I just weirdly had like a lot of notes on the first one. I just like, we see Obi-Wan. I think part of the reason why I had a lot of notes is this is the least explored area of Obi-Wan is him as a youngling. And so I was just really reading it closely. Yeah,
and we just got Apprentice, which is close to after this age, but but you know, he talks a little bit about like what it was like. He was always been a little troublemaker. And you're right.
And then like we his friend, as we talked about, Garen Rand, who, like, the thing I want to like skip to the end is that she leaves the Order, and the quote from Obi-Wan is, "I never saw Garen Rand again." Like, and that's it. And I googled this. This is her only appearance so far.
Oof.
I was actually going to do that, but didn't. I'm glad you did it, Adam. That's fantastic.
I wanted to check my math
because I was like,
"This is it."
Does he in fact never meet Garen Rand again? And then not even that, but just like, is that character having
Garen Rand is dead. I'm sorry, she's dead.
Is that what you think? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's a great way to introduce a character that you might build on later in the comics, right? Just might be a Force user that's out there that we don't know. Could have been cool. Part of. What if she ends up as part of the path, right? Like post Obi-Wan. Like,
could be, you know,
Order
if she
66.
Found a way to sort of nurture her own Force abilities, like, you know, without any like tutelage. You know, those things are sort of wishy-washy. For me, I just, you know, this is even as a child, he's going on noir adventures in Coruscant, right? And
doing it barefoot.
Yes, that did not go
on. Run around Coruscant.
Essentially,
he uses mind trick for the first time.
For the first time,
ever?
Yeah.
And he's like a youngling.
Nails it, and he nails it, dude. He blew up a Trandoshan like with his mind. You know, like he just like force pushed away a Trandoshan. Like those are like really strong fighters, and he was like, "You're not a problem for me." He did have to get saved by Garen Rand in that battle, but he essentially takes on 5 street thugs as a 6-year-old and blows them up, or,
right?
8-year-old or something. So yeah, he's great, man. Obi-Wan's great.
Then we jump to my favorite issue.
All right.
Yeah.
Number 2. After the Garen Rand leaves the Order and Yoda, you know, makes Obi-Wan sweep up the temple floor. I love 2 mainly because it's Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan again. Just
yes.
Who loves Qui-Gon?
Good.
And it's a pretty meaty comic. Like it's a great story, and the art is stunning. And it's just really fun to see Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon on this mission. And I love the personality. I love Obi's personality where he's just always didactic and scientific about everything. And Qui-Gon's like, just stay focused. Like there's people, like stay focused, like on the mission, like stop like analyzing everything. It's like analysis paralysis with you.
Yeah, exactly. I love that because I really think that's true in real life is like when you're not focused on yourself, you're focused on helping other people. A lot of good things happen to you and to people around you. Like, and that's Qui-Gon's deal, man. He's just like, no, we're here to help other people. And we see that later on be a guiding star for Obi-Wan in the Clone
But then
Wars.
again, the quest itself was like very sci-fi. It was very like a hard sci-fi
super sci-fi
quest. And I was like, wait, this is Obi-Wan's domain. He's actually secretly the hard sci-fi Jedi.
He is.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a techie. That you don't really realize.
You don't realize.
Also,
he doesn't want to be either. He actually denounces all the tech he interacts with, but that's because he has tech-infused stories all the time.
That's right. Yeah.
It also has a Defil in it, which is the werewolf or Devils.
Oh, yeah, that was a great poll.
And
it was.
I was like, look, I
truly terrifying.
Like, it's the one from the cantina, right? Like it's not the same character, but like I remember as a kid that cantina scene where it just cuts to a werewolf, and I'm like, there are werewolves in this universe now. Oh,
they're
no.
called Devils, Adam. Yeah.
Not 6-year-old Adam. That was a werewolf because I saw that mask in the Halloween stores.
I know.
Rosak.
You know, sure, he was behaving like a predator, but he was really at his heart just a house pet.
Yeah.
And a snuggly friend. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I was like, wow, werewolves and like, blackouts.
Yeah, we're doing the Rick Baker comic. That's what they were doing right now, and it was great.
Yep.
So I loved the Clone Wars episodes. I love that, like, this is a bottomless well they can go to, is just like churn out like, oh yeah, and then this battle happened, and then this battle happened. Like you can never, like, I hope they tell Clone Wars stories for the next 20 years, like, because they can. And I just thought it was really great. I mean, the first one was very good. Like he talks about Commander Cody and how like he misses him as a friend. He's like, even though he tried to kill me, but then again, a lot of my friends do.
Yeah, that was a great line. Yeah.
Yeah, poor Obi. But I really like diving back into the Clone Wars. And they went right at the crux of what we talk about on the show all the time, which is just like, how are you monks? You're monastic. You are like peacekeepers at your core, and then get folded into becoming generals. And Cantwell just went right at that with these episodes.
Your monks that carry laser swords.
Yeah, and it's like, how does Obi-Wan come to peace with that? And ultimately it was the teachings of Qui-Gon, which is just like, my job is to help people, and I'm going to do what I can to help people. And like that focus of like, I'm going to help the clones around me, like helps him survive. But there is the creeping darkness too, right?
Absolutely. But it's a great story because it's in a weird way, a somewhat untold story. We get a little bit in some of the books, but just like we see him at the end of episode 2, and then we flash forward to episode 3, and then even in the Clone Wars cartoon, we pretty much get like General Kenobi from the jump. Like he's just in it, right? Like we don't really get him transitioning from being a monk to a general, right? And I like that we get this internal monologue of just that, exactly what you're talking about. It's
also, you don't wish for your Padawan turned best friend, fellow Jedi Knight to feel like or basically to act with aggression, or to feel a sense of aggression during wartime. And yet Anakin gets triggered left and right, and Obi-Wan is just standing by. And it's just, that is stuff that like I don't think we really get enough of almost in Clone Wars. Like Obi-Wan witnessing Anakin's like steepening himself in hatred and aggression. We don't really, I don't know. There's like more, I think, to say there.
So you're referring to episode 4 now, which I think actually upon revision is my favorite episode because it
It's
is
pretty
the
close
Apocalypse Now
there.
episode.
It's so good.
It really is. It's just Apocalypse Now, but amazing. Like it's a classic
It's
story.
Obi-Wan and Anakin go visit Colonel Kurtz, and it's
Yeah.
I guess a Monte.
Yeah.
I forget the guy's name.
Yeah, they even was he bald? Oh yeah, he was bald.
Yeah.
Because of course.
Hey, did Colonel
Billy.
Kurtz make a sword out of bones? Like he has a sword made from clone troopers' bones.
Yeah.
That
When he said that, I was like, I put
Yikes.
the comic down and took a breath, and then I picked the comic
too.
back up.
Yeah.
and
it shook me.
Yeah.
It actively shook
I was
me.
like, this
And
is,
I'm like,
I
oh.
just thought Andor was dark today, and then like
Right.
Skeen's story, and then I read this comic, and I was like, oh no, this is far darker.
Yeah, I threw up in my mouth. I mean, like yeah. It was terrible.
His soldiers
And
just
Obi-Wan's
like rise
response
up
is,
out of
what
the
was
swamp,
his name?
like when they greet Anakin and Obi-Wan, and Anakin immediately hand over their lightsabers because they're like, these guys have the drop on us. They were basically like amphibious soldiers, like in the swamp water.
I mean, yeah, it was.
I thought that was great because it's almost like I almost like that would be a great addition to even Apocalypse Now, like just the idea of like soldiers that like live in bog water. It's like terrifying.
They didn't even try to hide it. Like they had to go through a jungle on a riverboat. Like
Yep.
like
it was.
It ended at a Sith temple, which makes a lot of
A
sense.
Sith temple. They even comment on that. They're like, this was a temple used by the dark side, faction.
This will complicate matters. But yeah, just back to what you were saying.
Yeah, it'd be hard to pull him out of his darkness because he's sitting on a throne in a dark side temple. It's like a Colonel Kurtz who found a Sith temple.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool.
Yeah, you just sit there and brood. That's what you do, and that's like
with a sword made of clone trooper.
Yeah, your enemies, your former allies.
Our takeaway tonight is we're all like walking away from this podcast petrified.
Terrified. It is spooky. It's a spooky season, so that's good. But yeah, you're right, because there is another parallel because Colonel Kurtz, they were all killing themselves, right? But spoiler alert. But his former allies were the clones, and he was killing clones, and so there's a huge parallel there. And I just love the game. I was like, nope, this is gonna be straight up like Apocalypse Now episode. Heart of Darkness, baby.
Yep.
But but no, back to what you were saying, Grant, about the relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin. Yeah, it like I loved that moment where he was just like, I admire Anakin so much, because like Anakin, even here in the late stages of the wars, is being very virtuous and just like, we're not going to kill people. Like that's what separates us from them. These are the lines that he creates in his mind to rationalize, being a Jedi slaughtering machine in wartime.
Right.
And he's like, I'm so proud of you. And he thought about the first time what it means to kill. Like really, like in a comic book, you're going to talk about like Obi-Wan's inner monologue about what it means to kill someone. Like really, really heavy stuff.
The guy, and then Obi-Wan's like, no, it's okay.
It's okay.
That's like the end of the comic book, and I was like, whoa.
But that's very much
dark.
old Ben, right? Like that's just like he has empathy for everyone, even his foes, and like, but especially for his best friend, / brother / son, and and he's just like, it's such a burden to take a life, and like he's Anakin's like, there's no way I'm killing this guy. There's no way. And like, of course, he's just like knee-jerk reaction, killed someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just he's like, I couldn't control my actions. I just like killed the guy because he was attacking Obi-Wan. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oof. So yeah, heavy hitting series so far, and then we get a really surprising episode 5 where we get old Ben era, but we have a sort of Tuskens are stealing energy supplies from the Empire, the small contingent of Imperials on Tatooine, and so the Force is sent out to recover these energy supplies, and hilarity ensues. And by hilarity,
and ambushed. Yeah.
Stormtrooper genocide.
Yeah, they effed around and found out.
Yeah. It was bad news for Stormtroopers.
Yeah, totally. It's a great story. Like I like the idea of Ben finding a wounded stormtrooper and still being Kenobi. Like I have to help this person, and
Yeah.
really does. And just I love that we get a hello there. We get a classic hello there
Yeah.
when the
Yeah.
stormtrooper wakes
I
up.
know that.
Yeah, and
I
then
have a
just
question.
takes. I love the. Yeah,
Why does
is your question probably gonna be the same as my question?
Yeah, is it why does he leave his lightsaber in an awesome lightsaber stand in the corner of his room?
That is not my question, but that's not the question I had. But I did have that question as well. It is
I
like
think he just makes it seem
yeah.
as if it's just one of the many things he's scavenged on Tatooine, one of the many trinkets.
Oh,
And so-
interesting. Yeah,
And so
it's
the
almost visiting, it's just
stormtrooper
like,
doesn't think he's a Jedi or doesn't perceive he's a Jedi. Yeah. It's
Well, he
just-
plays it off awesome. He's like, take
Yeah.
it.
Take it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though like a lightsaber to anyone would be precious, whether you're a Jedi or not. But yeah, they have a box set. I'm seeing this is another non sequitur. I don't know where.
Wait,
it's on
does this
sale from.
comic get to name the Eopie though?
Yes, it does name the Opie. It's like
It names the Opie. Is this the first time the Opie has been named?
It is for me.
As far as I know, yeah.
It is.
It's like
I don't know what
Nepar
it is, but I
something?
think it's in this issue because it looks like a pretty old Eopie.
It is in this
like
issue.
Eopie from Obi-Wan, basically.
Or actually, I think it's in issue 1. I think it's when he's talking about the storm coming, and the Opie knows it,
and it has,
senses
like,
it.
their head.
That's big for this comic series. That's
Oh,
big.
Akani. Sorry, I got it. It's Akani.
Akani.
Now we know.
AKA-ANI. Yeah. And no, his buddy Akani. And I have a feeling like he also homeboy that Imperial took off on Akani, but
Akani is like
comes
second billing in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show.
home. Yes. Dude.
Weirdly says
Yeah.
Connie's only appeared in Obi-Wan Part 1, Obi-Wan Part 6, Obi-Wan Issue 1, and Obi-Wan Issue 5. Apparently, we only have 4 appearances for Connie.
You mean like so it's a different EOP?
No, I think it's just
Obi-Wan live action.
I think it's the same.
I
think that's the privilege of this comic. He gets to name the Opie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
want that
live
EOP to live forever.
Yeah. So I need help with the ending of this comic.
All right.
You mean the
What?
harboring of a stormtrooper in your hut? And
No, like literally the
the
last
very end?
three panels of this comic. What am I
Okay.
seeing?
So they just jumped forward. It was like, and you know
Yep.
how it ends. I die at the hands of Darth Vader. Like I think that was all. It was.
Oh, okay. So
You're
we're on
never
Death Star the
alone
last two
either, or
panels.
something. And it's
Yeah,
just
last
like,
2 panels are than the Death Star, and those are like
What
are his
threw me
boots
off was the first one is just his cloak
flapping in
at-
the wind. The
Yeah,
door.
that's
in-
Darth Vader.
at the doorway, but he's not wearing that cloak.
Yeah, it's so amorphous. It looks like it's like coming off him. You don't really see any of Obi-Wan,
Yeah.
but it's
And
like
then you're right.
he's sort of heading. I think he's heading back out into the desert, but like the cloak drops, and then the cloak.
Oh, the
drops on
cloak.
Death
Oh,
Star.
it's being okay. Yeah, the top of the page, it's hung next to the door. So literally, you're right. It's just he walked out, it fell off of it, and then it cuts to the Death Star. Thank you for the help, because I looked at it for like 5 minutes and I'm like, I don't understand. Like someone came to his hut, it's Vader, and no, thank you,
No.
got it.
Yeah,
All right.
it was very metaphorical and whimsical, and a little aggressive. If I'm gonna be picky, which I am.
You're like, it's precious Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like it's okay. Like we know. I mean, I guess that he just wanted that full circle. But to
Sure.
me, after reading this, I want another 20 episodes of this. Like
Well,
of
the
just
whooshing of
little-
a cape falling to the
old
floor
Ben-
sounds like a sandstorm in the sort of ebb and flow of good and evil, light and dark. So like maybe that was the like poetic sort of connection. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah, no, it was. They were all connected beautifully. I mean, with like the general ethos of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I mean, it
Yeah.
was masterfully written. And it
really
was
was,
a beautiful 5-episode arc, and it was fun, and it was new, and it was fresh, and like it did all the things. I enjoyed. I couldn't have enjoyed this more. I don't think. But
Yeah, that's great.
that said, I want more of it. So keep going.
I'm surprised we don't do like Obi-Wan, in the trials. I'm still trying to. Where are Jedi trials? Are we done with that whole like
Right?
the whole idea of Jedi trials? Is that over?
It gets mentioned, but that's it.
That's
Every
it.
so often they'll still mention it. Yeah.
Like, didn't they? No, they almost did it with Ahsoka, but then they.
Well, like
didn't.
Fallen Order is kind of fun because you go into like a danger room with your master or something. I remember in that game, and I was like, oh, it's like this is kind of what I'm thinking. I'm like, but not a danger room, just some sort of elaborate, I don't know, puzzle space. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
every-
kind of feel like, yeah.
No,
Go ahead,
please
Ben.
go, Adam. Please. I'm sorry.
I just always read it as like trials. It's like it's just a metaphorical term, meaning like your trials are individual to you based on your experiences. Like it's some are like I think we see it a bit at the beginning of like the High Republic.
Because
Right,
that's
these
all
trials
we
are like
ever
just going to
see.
certain There are
And we always
trials that
just
are
see
like
these-
going to certain worlds and stuff like that, but I just thought in the temple there was sort of like, I don't know, sort of internal games
Right.
and progression systems, and I don't know, like stuff inside the temple.
I think there is a uniform trial for sure because they didn't always have these. So like Obi-Wan Kenobi's trial ended up being Maul, but it was like a weird honorific. Okay, you passed trial.
Right, there is like
Sith
going
Lord.
to
You get, like,
planets
field
and solving
promotions.
Yeah.
conflicts.
Yeah,
on-
Luke's
on
trial
port
was
on
defeating
planet.
Vader, and right, so he did
Yeah.
that. You know, but they were all honorary, and then there was all the battle promotions that were done, battlefield promotions in the Clone Wars. Those don't really count. But I think there is an actual set of Jedi trials that we've never seen.
Yeah.
Isn't there a test to then go on to get a knight, basically, like to be a Padawan? Essentially, isn't there like a trial to even be accepted into like tutelage or something? Is there
I don't know.
something?
So we got a little bit in Dooku Jedi Lost. They talked about that phase, but it was sort of like you get nominated and then you get drafted by masters.
Yeah, that's fascinating to me.
Yeah.
We need the Jedi show. Tony Gilroy needs to jump over to the Jedi show.
Let's go.
honestly, right after this,
Yeah.
and let's get into every nook and cranny of that temple.
Yeah. So ever since Wheel of Time has been a off-air theme that we've talked about in the past. And yeah, Adam's reading it now. Spoiler.
Yeah,
alert,
I'm almost done with
They
book
do-
2.
we finally get like I finally finished it after like 15 years off in between like the middle of the series. But they have like for Aes Sedai, which is essentially the Jedi of this high fantasy world. They're only women, and men join too. It's a different thing. But they had
I figured.
but they talked about the Aes Sedai trials, and they
Yeah.
do actually show the trials
Yeah, nice.
in a later thing. And I was like, okay, I'm like it was exactly what I expected for like a Jedi trial, where it's like it's in phases, it's very psychological, you face your worst fears, like that sort of thing, you know?
Yeah. That makes sense. And we do get trials and other stuff like in Dune, right? Like we get the why am I blanking on the name of the Bene Gesserit trials? So you get like you have the hand in the box. Mine is the main.
Jabbar.
Yeah, fear is the fear is the mind slayer. Blah blah blah. Sorry.
So it can be
dismissive.
done, and it should be done someday. That's just something that's kicking around on the Pablo Hidalgo's floor somewhere, and he just got to pick it up.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I think they want to. When they do it, they want to make sure they get it right.
But that was like the beat of the story that
canon.
maybe would be fun to elaborate on. Is like, I don't know, when Obi-Wan's like 14 or 15 or something.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Still, and Qui-Gon sort of like before Qui-Gon or something. The end of being a youngling or something. I don't know, whatever that.
I know but it's really the real one is from Padawan to Jedi Knight, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. So who would be a good candidate to show that? Because we can't show Obi-Wan because we know his fate. It can't be Kanan Jarrus. We know his fate. Ezra. I mean, it's got to be like a prequel era.
Yeah.
We don't know many younglings, right? I mean, maybe
where's the Mace Windu show? Why don't you do young Mace Windu? Like,
yeah.
Or do you just do High Republic? Like go back to High Republic just because you can tell a story there that's like ongoing kind of.
No, but to like really make it hit, like that could just be it would be great in High Republic and that.
Actually,
no, I know what you
Like,
mean. Though.
what is the big,
I want to see a contemporary.
Like what's the big moment? What's the big moment in those shows? Or like, what do you do? I don't know.
Yeah,
we got to go back to like the Sith War or something. Honestly,
they reference the Sith War. That the temple in Obi-Wan Kenobi. They said this would be a hideout during the Jedi Sith Wars. That was mentioned.
Oh, also, yeah, definitely.
So that's like
they love mentioning it.
Hints. Yeah,
they love mentioning it, but boy, do they don't ever want to show us it. Like, come on.
Oh, they're just gonna wait to do it right. They're waiting to do it.
Yeah,
right.
That's my hope.
Yeah. These comics are fantastic, though. I really did love them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too. I love Comics
Yeah.
Day. I love that we're doing them in full arcs
Oh.
now because it's just fantastic. It's really
Good.
fun to read them all back to back to back, and you get this like beautiful,
Yeah.
literally beautiful story, like visually beautiful and
Gorgeous tapestry of
Yeah.
Obi-Wan's
Yeah.
memories.
Yeah.
Of going through the
Looking
Jedi.
ahead, we got a little bit of leftover onesie twosies because their arcs are weird. So I think we have like 2 issues of Bounty Hunters and 2 issues of Darth Vader we need to cover. So we can do those next week.
Right, because those finish up the arc of Crimson Reign, right?
Part of the arc of Crimson Reign. It's all weird. It's so strange. I'm not quite 100%, but based on everything I was able to find. And then once we do those, we're off for a while because the new arcs start. And so I think the next one ends in December.
Okay. I see. All of the so then we're caught up, and then the new stuff starts. That's weird how we missed those arcs by 2 episodes, but
I know. Well, it's because it wasn't clear where the break was for Crimson Reign because they don't. It's not super transparent sometimes with the comics.
Right. So it'll be more of an
out.
old school Kyber Crystal Comics corner.
Couple of issues.
We'll do 4 issues from 2 different arcs.
Sure.
Yeah, like 2 and 2, and that'll be great. And so that'll be tagged on to you. I have to think that episode 6 is going to be, it's the mid-season finale, whatever. Of Andor is going to be monstrous. There's a lot of stuff we're going to talk about then. So maybe we'll do 2 different episodes, and if you want to dip in on the comics, you can. You should. They're great. We'll tie those in. And then the High Republic is firing back up, right? Did that just actually did that drop on Tuesday?
Yes.
Yeah. Came out on Tuesday. So we'll cover that not next week, but the week after.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's so far so good. I'm about 20% of the way through it.
Oh, so you're into it already. Okay.
I'm slow in it. I'm doing about 5% a day. Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna pick that up and do it. So 2 weeks. We'll talk about that. You should, if you're not reading High Republic and you like words on pages, do it, man. It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's so great. And you're not lost at this point. This is the perfect time to start reading High Republic because it's jumping to a prequel version of the same era that we were in phase 1. So you can hop in now.
And if you and if you want to read some debate on what the Force is and how the Force should be used and what balance means, you should read this book.
Yeah.
Guys,
absolutely.
We can't end the show yet because we have a special presentation of a new game that is themed around Andor. So stay tuned for our game segment that will end the show.
Look, good against remotes is one thing. Good against the living, that's something else.
All right, welcome to our game of the evening. This is just going to be, your regular old trivia match, but let's call it Andor the Question. I'm going to ask questions. You guys will answer. Each question is worth 1 point. Some questions could be worth 2, depending on difficulty.
Right.
Obviously, we do our classic buzz-in method, where you raise your hand, or I don't know, just sort of wave a limb.
Say buzz.
Or say buzz, as we've known to do, or play a sound.
I like the hand raise thing, even though our listeners can't hear it. Then you call on the person that raised their hand first. It's implied. I like the hand raise.
All right, let's do it.
First question. I'll let you know which questions are worth 2 before I give the next question, if they are indeed proven to be difficult. Okay. Who does Lieutenant Blevin put in charge of the Imperial headquarters on Ferrix?
Oh, great question.
Yeah.
Oh, I can picture him. I know he's a jerk. He only cares about wearing. He's like, you can wear a ball gown.
Or a title. Yeah, he wants a title change, even though it doesn't come with any. Yeah.
I didn't take pictures of the. I usually take pictures of the cast listing at the end of the thing, so I can talk about him.
This is Andor themed trivia. It's from all episodes, but this is again from the most recent episode, episode 5.
Yeah.
The axe.
I know.
What's his name?
Yeah, I got nothing.
I got nothing. I don't even have a.
This could be a low scoring game.
Captain Tigo.
Sure.
All right. I'll never forget it now.
Never.
What is the name of the milk that Nemec shares with Cassian before they hike to the Imperial installation?
Oh, I missed that too. I
Nope,
missed it too.
not gonna get that. I know it's very potent.
Yeah, and he like didn't even finish it. He's like, drink your milk. It's like Xanadu milk.
Dre milk.
Dre milk. All right.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
What
Yeah.
are the what is the rebel team stealing on Aldhani?
Gold, straight cash, homie.
The payment for the sector.
A full sector's worth of. Oh,
The
sorry, I
quarterly
didn't raise my
I-
hand.
we're like,
entire
we
Imperial
immediately
sector, Adam pretty much
abandoned.
got the closest to Luthen's verbatim line what they're taking. Okay, Adam, I'll give you that point.
Nice.
Yeah, we immediately abandoned raising hands. I just don't think I have a feeling we're not gonna be rushing to answer.
What
some of
has
these.
the Empire
My
done
brain
to
is
Gorman?
racing.
What has the Empire done to Gorman?
Who's Gorman?
The planet of Gorman.
Oh boy.
is that-
That's when they flooded the pitch trees or something. They scoured its resources.
You're just gonna start talking. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just talking now.
You're just gonna okay. That's
I'm
multiple
throwing-
answers.
This
I'm
is
still
this is Skeeve's home planet, right?
Gorman is actually
it's-
mentioned by Mon Mothma when talking to Perrin.
Oh, Gorman! Oh, we're doing all of them. Oh, sorry. Hi, Andres.
Andres,
Yeah.
Ben, go.
All right, go for it.
They're well, I mean, it's the same old story, right? Their hyperlane was cut off, so they're not able to get
Cut off shipping routes.
Oh, that's right. All right.
And there's also,
Nice.
I think, silence protest, but I don't know if they said that. Or not.
I mean, it gave me a hint there. So.
What alien species is Vetch? What is the name of his species?
Vex, my guy.
Yeah, he's great. I love him.
Did they
He's my
mention it
favorite
in
character
the episode,
from
right?
One.
Don't they? Do they say his species in the episode or no? I don't know. It's like
Yeah, I'm not. It's
It's not a
is it?
Carcadon.
Uridel
Right? It's
is
like,
the species.
what is it?
Say it again.
Uridel?
Uridel?
Huh.
Uridel. What is the name of the celestial event that the Aldhani observe every 3 years?
Oh man,
It's
the shower.
it's not called the curtain, right? What? Oh man, I'm the worst.
I can hear the two Imperials saying if we
in
straight- no, this-
Aldhani for 2 points.
Oh, okay.
If you know it in Aldhani, 2 points. If you know it just in Galactic Basic, 1 point.
Oh man.
The curtain though.
This is a 2-pointer. This is a chance for 2 points.
It's like this. It's not the Starfall.
Also, I can also tell you the character if you guys need to like.
No, I know what you're talking about, man.
Yeah.
I just.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Gorn says both of these things. He says both answers.
Yeah.
In 5, right?
In one line.
That I missed completely.
In 4, I believe.
In 4?
Yes.
He also, I think the two people he's talking to in episode 5, the two officers, they mention it. They say the basic.
And in
version
episode
of it.
2, they run through the whole thing. Like they give the whole like history of the event and talk about it. Like it's been mentioned like 4 times.
The
Just gonna let us just cook
shower,
here.
I guess
I'm blanking on it.
the Eye of Aldhani is what it's called.
Oh, is that it? I thought
Is that it?
All
I
right.
wouldn't
It's
have
called
guessed.
the Eye several times by people.
The eye. All right. Yeah, I never would have gotten that.
What's
before.
it in
I was
Also
like,
Aldhani?
says- Gorn also says what it is in Aldhani, which is Makani.
Yeah, what is it?
Point, which is that would be 2 points if someone did that.
You talked
Someone
over
got-
Adam. What was it, Grant?
Makani Braydani. If you memorize that line.
Okay.
I did remember him saying that. 'cause I'm like,
our
that's
secret
a
password.
rhyming. Yeah.
That's a
Mechanic
tough
down.
trivia answer.
Right.
What
for one.
All right. All right. Let's go back to some easier one. I guess how many Imperials are stationed at the Imperial garrison on Aldhani?
I want to say
mentioned
24 troopers. No,
I was gonna say 18.
40.
Oh, Ben, ding, 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 40 man ready.
40.
Yeah,
Well done.
They say
Yeah.
at one point. What? Okay.
Oh, I was thinking of
Ben, I believe that's-
She-Hulk.
Ben, is
why I
that
said
2
18.
now for you and 1 for Adam
Yeah.
at this point?
Yeah,
Okay.
Ben's got 2.
Ben, okay, let's go to the next one. Ben's 2. Just pulling ahead there. What ship are they hijacking to abscond with the Imperial payroll? What is the ship?
What's it called?
Well, what class ship is it?
Oh, I mean, I don't know, bro. Because it's like rail launched. I don't know.
I
What it
know,
looks
it's a
like.
rail
It's
launched,
it's
that's what I
not a
had, yeah.
Lambda class shuttle, right? So it's a different class. Oh, because it's an older class, and Cassian knows how to pilot it. I don't got it. I don't have it.
Yeah, no, I said the rail system, like, but
What,
no, I got
well,
nothing.
what class ship is it though? We know these ships, like we know all the classes of ships though. If you just say one, you're probably right, honestly.
Well, it's not. It's not Lambda class, right?
Well,
Is
I
it?
guess like what type of ship is it? You know, is it a?
It's a freighter.
Yeah.
That's part of the answer. That's the second. The box freighter. Box freighter is the
Okay.
a Rono. Cassian calls it at one point. I almost would make that 2 points. I was like,
If you called it a Rono,
calls it.
Yeah,
Rono.
sure. You can make it 1,000,000 points. Doesn't
which
matter.
is an acronym.
What is the shipyard called on Ferrix? Shipyard.
The like remote shipyard, or no, or the place where they're scrapping the vehicles.
Or where Cassian takes the ship
Cassian
and returns the
steals
ship.
ships. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that shipyard.
Yeah.
Kelly's roast beef.
Yeah. No.
I mean,
Oh,
that's a
Kelly's
great
roast
name
beef.
for it, and henceforth, that's what we're calling it on this podcast. And stay tuned for that.
Because like the vibe is very Kelly's roast beef.
Yeah, totally.
That's so amazing regional reference that not many people will understand. I'm
No
happy-
one will
I'm happy you're
understand,
doing
but
it.
I
Yeah.
feel like hearing Kelly's roast beef should pretty much tells you everything you need to know.
Okay, Zorby's Western Ship Lot.
I was so close.
Zorby's Western Ship Lot.
Yeah.
Discount.
Okay,
Wow.
what did Skeen's brother farm?
Trees.
Adam point.
Oh man, you jumped out in front of me. Wait, they were pitch trees though, right?
Huh?
Were they
Pepper
pitch
trees.
Pepper trees.
Pepper trees, right? Pepper trees.
In
I guess I was
episode
big.
4, we witness Major Partagaz grill Captain Legret about his unfinished memorandum to settle the conflict on Arvala 6. 2 very notable characters in the Star Wars canon meet in the Arvala system. Can you name these 2 characters?
So outside of Andor canon,
Outside of Andor canon,
in the
2
Arvala
characters, super notable characters, meet for the first time in the Arvala system. It's not
Dr. Aphra,
Arvala,
Darth
it's
Vader.
not Arvala 6, it's Arvala 7 that they meet on.
Oh, Arvala
Uh.
7.
Win loss and knock.
Nerdy as we are, I could tell the
No,
difference.
super, I guess, spotlight characters that are well known in the brand right now.
Oh,
Go to brand icons.
crud. I was gonna say, yeah, I did say Vader and Aphra, but
They meet for the
Arvala.
very first time.
Caleb Dune and Harrison Dilla.
No.
Is it
Arvala.
I can't even think of her name because I was gonna say it's
I'm thinking of like old original trilogy characters right now.
I'm thinking of Obi-Wan.
Oh, because you're
You guys
saying
are gonna
notable
love this
characters.
answer.
Oh man,
All right.
it's gonna be like Chewbacca and Han Solo.
Yeah.
Is
Han and
Obi-Wan in the
Lando.
Arvala system? I don't know.
These characters were created recently, if that helps.
Okay.
They're not prequel characters. They're not original trilogy characters. They're not sequel trilogy characters.
Are they High Republic characters?
Streaming
Streaming.
characters.
So is it Ice Cube Jr. and
It's
the other
they're
one? No.
again, they're sort of icons of the brand itself right now. They have huge recognition.
Oh,
among
Mandalorian and
themselves.
Child?
Yes, done.
Oh,
Grant, you couldn't give us any better hints.
Point,
I love how you're
Adam.
like
Yeah.
icons.
just
Icons
laid
of the
the
brand.
path with gold there.
Literally read my child little golden book, The Mandalorian. This is the way book tonight. And I'm like, what could you possibly mean? The icons, current icons. Yeah.
Did they mention the Arlani system in that little that golden book or no?
No, it's very basic. That one's not great, to be honest.
I mean, if you really want to put a kid to sleep, I mean, start talking about like the thrust ratio of like inverter couplings or whatever.
All right, 2 points. What is the ISB mission statement? Go.
We are a healthcare system.
Yeah.
Oh no, the actual like the one
actual
she
mission-
read.
it's actually one sentence.
Is it? I thought it was like a
Two.
long sentence. So it was like
It's one long sentence. It's one, yeah.
It's like
Gather information on those who would harm the Empire.
that's a good guess, Adam. That's better than I could do.
Yeah.
It's pretty
I
good.
was gonna say something like that, but like stupider.
We're here to further security objectives by collecting intelligence, providing useful analysis, and conducting effective covert action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
It's like the
says
CIA, baby.
It's,
Yeah, but as we all know, she's wrong. So why does it matter?
and it's probably instead of we're here, it's probably our mission is the
mean,
further security.
Yeah.
Don't
It's
I
so-
get
it's weird to say
a
we're
point
here.
because I gave you the Penagaz version? No. All right.
No,
I think
point.
we're
I mean,
at
wait, how
2-2,
many
right?
points?
I think we're
wait, no.
tied up right now. I think it's 3-3 right now. So
3-3.
Yeah, I think it's
I believe it is 3-3.
Yeah.
Let's do one tiebreaker. See if we can do it. I'm gonna do one that might lean into Ben's sort of specialty, and then one that will lean into sort of Adam's specialty.
All right. I don't know. Let's see which is which when I get both.
Feeling we're gonna end up being tied 4-4, and then we're just
Where
never
did
gonna end.
Cassian enter the employ of the Empire, and how old was he when he became a compulsory serviceman? Like,
He was 16. It was Mimbom.
Yeah.
when did he first enter the employ of the
First. Oh, he was first into the employ. Oh, I don't know.
I mean, unless you're saying it was 13.
Or
but
I guess
it's like a slave
entered
labor.
compulsory service.
That would be
when did
13.
Cassian enter compulsory service of the Empire? I guess
13, right?
Yep.
They learned that this episode.
that's.
But I didn't think it was
2 points
compulsory.
if you get where.
It was, yeah, you get a lot of things. I mean, I would have guessed what Adam guessed, which is like that's when he started fighting for the Empire.
Yeah, that's why I put employ, because it's like
Okay,
he's-
that was
That was being
that was the rub. Okay,
Yeah.
Well, all right.
I guess
I'm not gonna
but
get
it's this. It's
pedantic
Sippo.
about it.
I'm also a Sippo for 2 points if you could get where. Sippo, but all right, one more.
Yeah.
One more.
Yeah.
This one's a Ben one here.
That was yours.
That was
Well,
okay.
Adam did say he went to a juvenile center earlier when we were talking on the episode, so I thought that was already. a
Well,
question.
yeah. I mean, I don't want to get pedantic, so let's just move on.
What is Luthen Rail's ship? What is
I
the
don't
name?
know.
It's awesome. His ship
Classic.
is awesome. I get a point.
He names his ship is named.
Well, it's the class, like what it is.
Oh,
What it is.
I should have been paying better attention. I know, like the Cassian says it right.
We
when he-
said the word earlier in the episode in our discussing
along with the 38,000 other words we said.
planet.
Let's see.
in 2 hours
Yeah.
of recorded
Planet.
time.
We named this planet earlier. It's part of the ship name.
Fondor? Really? It's like a Fondor
Class.
Fondor
class?
Hullcraft. That's
I mean, you got to give it.
Fondor
to
Hull
Ben.
Craft,
You got to give
yeah.
him.
yeah. I'll
You
give
gotta
you a point
give
there,
that.
Ben. Wow, half points on
Yeah.
both of those. So Ben's gonna take a
Well
full
done.
point to just come in the
I
win,
will.
get the win at the end there.
Well played,
Yeah.
Adam.
Hey, what a game!
Well done.
What a
That's
game.
impressive.
Well met.
That's fun.
Yeah, that was fun. I love that we're digging back into Andor because there's so much.
There's so much.
here.
I was like, I could make trivia out of Andor thus far, just be given how much they've.
You
done.
could have done it with just one episode if you wanted to.
One episode.
True.
I know. It's kind of crazy.
It is. It really is. That was fun.
Fuck wild. All right, we're out, guys. This was great. Thank you. If you're still listening to us right now, we love you with every cell in our being. It was great. It was a fun time.
Yeah.
Next we'll play some catch up with some comics, and we will talk about Andor 6, which I want my dinner party, and that's all I'm gonna say. So yeah, may the force be with you, and also may Slimewar come to all your dinner parties.
This is Grex Kondak signing off. For the latest breaking news, follow @CoreWorldNews on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you, and good night.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.
Core World News. On there.
Well, that's the thing is, I feel like now that we're getting like Andor's being successful, and it's a different type of Star Wars show, and I'm hoping with that being successful and the Mandalorian being successful, the lesson they're taking is like variety. Like we can have all these things. We have this like synthwave Lando show, and the Acolyte can be really dark, and like we can allow them to the creators to be creative.
Yeah, we need to
Andor-
differentiate from
I mean-
Marvel. Is like my main.
Yes.
And Mandalorian like kind of brushes up against the line sometimes.
It's popcorny. It's just
What if
which is
Lando
fine.
gets to be a little like Sex in the City, and he gets to like meet a lot of, people and have illustrious like relationships, all over the galaxy? Like, would that not be fantastic? Like
That would be fantastic. Yeah.
That would be yes,
I
that
could
would
watch
absolutely be
especially,
fantastic. Yeah.
The writing, the caliber of Tony Gilroy and Dan Gilroy on Andor. I would love a Lando series where it's almost dating. It's sportsman being a sportsman. It's gambling.
Day in the
it's
life.
flying in the Millennium Falcon. It's like it's so
Yeah.
much. That show could be so fun.
Oh my gosh, you're so right. I'm trying to think of like what the analog would be, but it's just like one of those people whose lives is so crazy that you can't like his just day-to-day thing is like he's hustling, then he's meeting people, and he's making deals, and he's doing side
It's like
deals.
a Scorsese picture. It's like
Yeah.
Goodfellas or like Casino.
Yes.
or something.
Yeah, exactly. That would be amazing, but with Lando.
Like Casino or
Yep.
Scarface, but just like
But
Lando, but it's
Yeah, but synthwave. Just do like the episode, just do the show 24 again, but it's just 24 hours of him just getting wrapped up in this, like just one day of him like at the like just starts off in the casino and just like
I would also
every
like
minute
this
of that
full
man's
charm
day.
too. Lando full charming most like interactions where he just gets out scot free
Yeah.
and he's like full charm. Like I made it through the situation. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. That's gonna be. I don't know. It's not even that thing doesn't even have a date or like. I guess it has a director, but
It's
like
kind of it's really
Well,
not
actually, be
confirmed
post
at all.
Falcon, right? He'd have a new ship, right? At this point,
he's not gonna have Lady Luck.
I guess we would
I
probably
mean,
that would probably be the.
I would hope
probably
it
at
would
that
be
point.
Lady Luck.
Yeah.
I
mean that's old EU, new EU. I mean new canon. Like they keep bringing Lady Luck around, so I think
he
need
was
to
he
see
was
it.
driving Lady Luck in the recent Shadow of the Sith novel.
Yeah,
for a little while, right? And then they hop on.
They
board.
need a faster one.
Yeah, which is
well,
like
I know Charles Soule
Related.
is working on She-Hulk, and it would be fun to see him like do a take of like at least sort of writer or part of the staff writer on the show for Lando Lobot.
Yes.
Their sort of first meet, all that stuff.
Because did he write that like mini series, that like 5-episode arc with featuring Lobot?
Yeah, he did.
That was Soule.
And he's consulting on Marvel shows, so it's like
That guy's dude.
no
He's
brainer.
an
Jump
assassin.
on
Yeah.
He's so good. He's on She-Hulk.
Yeah, he's a consultant on She-Hulk. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting, man.
They're priming for
I
Lando. Lando's going to be big. It's going to hit big. I hope he could come over and navigate the Lobot stuff. And the Lobot, I feel like Lobot, wow, they could almost go comedic with Lobot. Like I almost hope that it's kind of funny.
It's so
like,
dark.
Yeah.
I almost want to be like pure physical comedy with Lobot, where he's just like waking up.
Totally.
He's just like appearing, and like it's like a pan reveal, and everyone's like startled because Lobot's like in the room. They didn't even think he was in the room. Like,
Yeah, they'd have to give
Yeah.
the backstory at the beginning of it because most people don't know the tragedy of Lobot.
it's true.
No, it's
But-
true. It's true.
Yeah,
It's
but
true.
I
It's
mean,
very
the
tragic.
only
But-
Lobot I want to see at this point is Lobot returning to consciousness because I just had my like guts ripped out
Well,
by like
Yeah.
everything since dude when they had the robot that's like I can help you, Fred, and then they space him, and it was like no, that's the only guy that can save.
I forgot
robot.
about that. You were so upset. You still are upset. It's
Yeah, that was a big
that.
moment for you, Ben. You remark on that for many podcasts now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
But
Lobot. I mean, dude, bald guys got to stick together, man. You know what I'm saying? Like good bald guys, like we get cast as villains in everything, and it's just like not fair, frankly. And so, like, Lobot's cool, and I think he deserves his moment in the sun.
your
He
role
certainly
model.
deserves consciousness again.
Well, that's the thing is I want him to regain consciousness and then be immediately exasperated
Yeah,
by Lando and everything.
Yes,
like it's just
immediately
like,
be like,
just
I
constantly.
hate you.
Yeah,
I hate you.
Yeah.
I have to go
I
right
hate
back
you.
into
Yeah.
hibernation because Lando
Yeah.
is too much.
He should just like walk away from Lando and not talk to him and be like,
Yeah.
You
I
are
just
a
can't.
monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember all
Actually,
those
I wanted
things?
to
I
be
know I
there
wasn't
and, like-
conscious and couldn't say anything, but I saw it all and I remember everything.
I remember everything. It's in my
Yeah,
gut.
he's at the club with Lando, but just like sitting in the booth the entire time and recording everything.
just
Yeah.
being like, I hate you. I hate you.
Traumatized.
Yeah, that guy has a straight flush. I hate you. I hate you. Yeah. Oh man,
Give us that show.
Lando.
Give us the
Can you-
Lando show.
That's
Yeah.
the one. But I think so. Hopefully that like Andor will be the like jump off point. Like maybe this will feed some ideas. Be like, oh, we can do that, and then like, Kugler brings
Yeah.
in the right writers, and they make an adult Lando show.
I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't if they got everyone. I think this, again, it's so hard to determine what's a success and what's not because, they don't release any real numbers for this, but just based on the chatter, it seems to be that like Andor is just working for everyone.
How does Disney like record that like benchmark success of these shows? Like, is it just like
we don't know.
subscribers to Disney Plus?
Subscribers and
we don't-
views.
I-
I think.
Yeah, I guess that's all conjecture. They don't reveal any of their metrics or how they make decisions. They release really weird numbers about like how many of a million people watched it day one, which is always like the same number, which seems really
Yeah.
suspicious.
Yeah, there's something I was actually listening to that today on the Dana Carvey and David Spade show podcast. But they said something about like the way that they read streams is something like billions of streams or something. It's like minutes. It's like they measure it in minutes watched.
Screen time.
And so it's like if you get in billions of minutes, it's like that's great. But I don't know I'm sure someone's
They're
taking
probably getting
metrics
lots of engagement with Andor because I feel like it nicely, I guess, enters all four quadrants. I mean, it's like all walks of life. You're getting, Mon Mothma's daughter. You're getting younger characters in the mix. As obviously when Cassian was a kid.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's definitely hitting all ages, I think, and people really like it. And doesn't hold your hand, and the dialogue's really smart, and it's fun to watch a show that actually, is going to explore, a tyrannical regime, oppression, in this episode, the kind of natural hate that breeds, and like everyone who's dealing with it, and what they have to do to basically fight for their.
You're in it, dude. You're like, it's so easy to be empathetic with all these characters.
So good
because they just take the time to do it, and it's great. I'm like wondering, like, my angle on that is just like, how do they decide we're going to spend $120 million on this series, but we're going to spend $160 million on this series? Like, what makes them jump? Like, how do we get higher production?
It's what the story calls for. I mean, it's like what the set piece moment, what the big moments need to be. I feel like, and what that scope and scale is going to be. Okay,
so it starts from the like production.
That I
just feel like Ahsoka is going to be really cheap. I don't know why, but like I just feel like they're not going to spend a lot of money.
I feel like Ahsoka is going to reintroduce Thrawn, and it's going to be like it's going to start this kind of new, storytelling.
Yeah.
Initiative. Basically, it's like what happens after Thrawn's return, the return of Thrawn. Thrawn is galaxy.
I think they're going to do it on a Mando budget, though. Like I think it's going to be like a volume show.
Yeah. I agree. I think everything in the Mandoverse is going to be very much that. My hope is that they keep saying that's all leading to this crossover giant event. Yeah. And I don't know if that's a movie or a series, but when that happens, they up the budget, they up the production value, and it looks a little more theatrical.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're doing their best. Hey, the volume is a massive step forward, but
go back to our first episode after the Mandalorian premiere, and we're talking about, I can't believe how great this looks. There's no way it could look better. It looks like a movie. Like
I know. Yeah. I know.
It's all Andor's fault.
Gorgeous, and it's a beautiful.
It's still
substitute
spectacular.
To create exotic worlds and environments. So,
well,
because we've seen Iceland, a few dozen times in sci-fi films at this point. It's like let's check out like new geography, and I think the volume.
Newfoundland. Yeah. They need. I mean, essentially, a film crew is a military, and they have to be able to house and feed all these people. So it's like it can't be too far. I mean, you can't get further than Tunisia, right? So.
Which you're not going to do really on a TV budget. Like if you look at Andor, if we really think about it now, they're doing a lot of like locations. They built an entire set, and then when they're outside that set, a lot of locations are just buildings that are around wherever they're taping. And then for this last episode, they're clearly just shooting in somewhere in England, maybe, I don't know, but like or Norway or something. But
Scotland or England,
Scotland,
Norway,
totally.
maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
Norway.
they found.
But they're not.
We lost you, Adam. You're frozen. Come back to us, Adam. You're our only.
Oh no, am I back?
You're back.
You became one with the Force for a second.
Now you're frozen. But my point is, you're not going to be able to afford to go to these giant things, and that's where the volume works. Is when you need a planet that you can't afford to go to.
Yeah.
I think it's a great way to create new worlds. That's kind of where that discussion ends. Yeah. But other than that,
can't hear you at all.
Again, depth is kind of lost. Daiyu looked great.
Gonna come
other
back.
locations,
Come back.
natural locations where you can actually just go on location and get those shots. Those locations lacked depth in the volume, whereas the sort of new locales that they created were gorgeous in the volume. The sky bridge in space, like some of those really dynamic, I think almost metallic cityscape space, the void, creating, that's the best way to create depth, I think, in the volume. Because when you do a desert planet in the volume, it's kind of like, you can kind of see.
You can kind of see it.
You kind of see where the volume is.
Yeah.
Or like the depth. Where that
it's got like, there's a little resolution drop in your, because you're copy of a copy. Yeah. It does give it a little bit of that like A New Hope fuzziness. But it's like at this day and age, it's like you can't.
Yeah, the character's so crisp. The background
is a little low res, just like a little low res.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh man, rad. All right,
Andor doesn't have that problem. The on location stuff is stunning. The dialogue just sweeps you away. You're actually just lost in what the characters are just saying.
I know. I'm gonna go back and watch the episode again tonight. I can already tell.
We gotta jump to this. We gotta jump to this comic book. We gotta jump to our fave character, Obi-Wan.
All right, let's do it.
Let's talk. He's in our top 5. All of us.
I'm ready for it.